just want to throw it out there. Was there anything in particular that stood out to you in that clip? Anything that caught your mind, caught your heart?
All the Jews had to get back.
Yeah, we laughed about that earlier. I think Peter sounded a bit Scottish.
Jesus needed a helping hand into the boat.
Jesus needed a hand into the boat. Yeah, thank you. Anything else? Yeah.
Back though, they completely changed how that went from Bible to
Yeah, okay. Tim.
He still went out, even though he said there will be no fish.
Yeah, so he still went out even though there would be no fish. I think for me one of the things that stands out is that, and I guess sharing in terms of your journey over these last few days, is that Peter was called. Did you hear Jesus call Peter's name? He said Peter. And there was a shift in Peter, wasn't there? You could see him change. He was like, whoa, you know my name. In the very same way, you guys have been called. And over the last few days, you guys have had the chance to hear a lot about, well, why would you respond to that call? Is it really real? Is that call that I'm hearing on my heart and in my life, is that real? And you guys have had a lot of opportunities to explore that and ask some questions and live that over the last few days. So tonight is it comes to the point where you have to make a response. You have to make a choice. And that choice might be to stay right where you are. But I think we all know that God's calling us to a little bit more than that, don't we? I can see it. I can see it in your hearts, I can see it in your eyes. I haven't been here long, but over today I've seen the way you guys have been interacting, the way that you've been participating in the things that have been available to you. And I can see that you are ready to take a step. Even if it's a tiny, tiny little step, or a massive leap. Now I just want to, when we're talking about commitment, when we're talking about making a choice, there's a couple of things that I just want to demonstrate before I invite you to do that. So what I need a couple of volunteers, 2 volunteers in fact, and preferably 2 people who know each other quite well. 2 boys down the back. Thank you, gentlemen. Now what I'm going to get these boys to do is what I call a couple of counterbalances, okay? So it requires an investment on both their parts, yeah? So you guys know each other quite well? Okay, the first one is going to be very easy. I want you to face each other, toe to toe. And I want you to monkey grip at the elbows. Yep. Now what I want you to do is see how close you can get your toes together, but lean backwards and extend your arms as far as you can. That's it, nice, well done. Give them a round of applause. Very good. Okay, I think that was a little bit too easy for them. I want you to turn around back to back and put your shoulder blades together. And now walk further out as far as you can. No, with your keep your shoulder blades together, but just walk your feet out as far as you can. Oh, looking good, boys, looking good. Yes! Okay, stay there. Link your elbows and see if you can get back up again. Use it, yeah! Give her a round of applause. Okay, final one, boys. I want you to stand like one of you to stand like this. You can do this. I want you to turn around and you're going to stand on his knees. No, around his front. Again, monkey grip on the elbows. Monkey grip. Monkey grip. Yep, and now grab his elbows. And see if you can lean out. So you've got to hold on. Monkey grip. Now that was pretty impressive, And I purposely chose, as I said, someone who knew each other quite well, because one of the things about knowing someone, the more you know someone, the more willing you are to trust them. And trust and commitment go hand in hand. Trust and commitment go hand in hand, quite literally. You have to be able to know, you have to be able to trust someone. And the greater you trust in them, the deeper you commit. My brother has a little girl, Millie. And when she was 4 years old, they were around at a friend's place. And Millie is an absolute little monkey. Like, she just loves adventure, she loves climbing on anything, whatever's going, she's the first one in. And they're at the pool, and they're all sitting around the pool. And Millie, at 4 years old, she couldn't really swim properly. She decided to climb this 2-metre rock feature at the end of the pool. And in all her courageousness, she decided to jump off into the pool. And obviously she's come up and Dad saw this, my brother Greg, and he ran into the pool, fully clothed, jumped in the pool, pulled her up and sat her on the edge, said, Millie, weren't you scared? And she said, no, Daddy, I knew you would come. True story. They were her exact words. And I think that would be true, and it's a little story, a reflection, that we too can take risks like that, knowing that our Daddy will come. We can step out and we can take risks, good risks, knowing that we will be protected. And I saw that in you guys this afternoon when you were playing Zorba soccer or bubble soccer. Knowing that you had that big ball around you, I can dare say that if that bubble wasn't around you, you guys wouldn't have been hitting as hard as you were. You'd certainly come off a little bit worse for wear than what you did with that bubble around you. And that bubble is like that commitment of God to us. That's what protects us, that commitment back from God. It's God's commitment to us that allows us to live fearless and free. To risk, to love, to give, to grow. And it's our commitment to God that allows God to be God in our life. It's a very cool thing to let God be God, knowing that we don't have to be God. We don't have to do it all. We don't have to do it all together. Sometimes we go, why am I afraid to commit? What is it that stops me from taking that step forward? Maybe I'll lose something. Maybe I'll change, or my life will change. Some things will be different. We're not particularly good at dealing with change sometimes. But I think one of the burning questions that we often have too is, can I trust God? Do I know Him well enough to trust Him? Let's have a quick look at this for a second. I want to give you some little statistics. When we look at the bigness of the universe, this is really cool. Our Earth rotates at 1,000 miles an hour, 150 million kilometres from the Sun, right? 145 million kilometres, or 155 million kilometres from the Sun, and we're dead. We don't live. Our Earth is on an axis of 23.5 degrees on a tilt, and that's how it rotates. 25 degrees, 22 degrees, and the Earth gets stuck. It doesn't rotate. And we're dead. The Earth has the Sun gives us a 40% gravitational pull, and there's 60% from the Moon, no life. Our atmosphere, 21% oxygen. Any more, any less, and we can't survive. We can't breathe. Our body temperature set at 37 degrees, thereabouts. 38 degrees, 39 degrees, or 32, 34 degrees, it's unsustainable. We can't live. And there's hundreds of these little things that God holds in His hands in order to sustain our life. Another cool little thing, if we look at how small the universe is. One of the, who knows the smallest, or we used to be, one of the smallest particles. What's it called? Atom, thank you. So for some time, we thought that this was the smallest possible thing. But then someone split the atom, and they've discovered now over 100 subatomic particles. That's insane. One of these guys is really cool, right? It's called a quark. And it can appear, disappear, and reappear over there without having actually travelled that distance. If you split it and put one in Sydney and the other half in Perth, the little electrons that spin around, if you reverse them, the one in Perth, the one in Sydney does exactly the same thing, changes its rotation in order to be the same. These things can be in two different places at the same time, called simultaneous duality. So we've got these guys, these incredible minds, these physicists, some of the most intelligent people on the earth, discovering these things and then they come across these things and they're like, I don't know. And it's God that holds all this perfectly in balance in his hands. And he holds our life in our hands. One momentary lapse of concentration from God and poof, we cease to exist. You can flick if you wouldn't mind. So, I guess that's a question burning on our hearts. Can we trust God? Can we trust God? And only you know the answer to that as to where you are right now. God's laid the cards on the table. He has revealed absolutely everything in Christ Jesus. He said, "This is all I am. This is everything that I have to give you." There's no surprises, except maybe if you're a physicist. Everything has been made known to us. His whole love, everything that God is, has been made available to us. And he holds nothing back, but he does ask that we respond. And when we encounter love, when we encounter real love, you cannot help but be moved to change, to move to respond. You would have seen the movie Finding Nemo, and that part when they're in the whale, and they're both hanging on, and she's like, "Oi, the whale said to move to the back of the throat." You know, ooh. And she's trying to convince Marlon, and Marlon's like, "Oh, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea." And she says to him, "You have to let go. You have to let go." And he said, "But how do you know nothing bad's going to happen?" And Dory, in all her coolness, she's just like, "Let's go," and says, "I don't." She doesn't know that nothing bad's going to happen. We don't know what lies ahead, but God does. Do you trust him? We're created to take risks. And if we're not growing, then we die. It's part of nature. Anything that is not growing, anything that is not moving forward, anything that is not gaining life is dying. We're created to grow. We're created to move towards our Creator, to be more like him, to be more like God. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite you to stand. Because I believe that there's great power in responding with our whole being. Not just our words, not just our heads, but with our whole being. And I want you to take a stance that you really mean this. And it's okay if you're not ready to do this, that's completely okay. But I want you to take a stance with your physical body to show the change that you're about to make. So I want you to close your eyes. And for those of you that believe in God, say I. Come on, for those of you that believe in God, say I. For those of you that trust in God, say I. For those of you that want to make a deeper commitment to your Creator this very night, say I. I want you to listen to the words of this song with your eyes still closed. You can stay where you are and you can be comfortable, or you can take that step closer to your Creator, into the life that He's